Yeah, first off, thank you all very much for coming out and covering Tulane football. We really appreciate it. We're going to try to make this, as accessible as possible so that you can come out here and see the green wave and see the progress that we're making. So we really appreciate you coming out. I'm really pumped up and excited about it. My first, year of coaching was 1982, so a couple years ago. And I just, I always challenge my guys to find a profession that they have as much passion for as I have for coaching. It never feels like I'm going to work. And when you open camp up, it's just a great time to work with everybody on the team, and kind of put the pieces to the puzzle together. And so far, I've just been, very impressed with the depth that we have. We have much more depth than we've ever had before. You all that have covered us extensively know that if we had one or two guys get hurt at certain position groups, we were having problems. And right now, we've got a tremendous amount of competition, for positions on offense, defense, and also in the special teams. And then, entering year 5, these are our guys all the way, that we recruited and all those other kind of things that have been through the program. So the meetings are even more condensed now because you don't have to explain things in great detail. You can tell them a couple buzzwords and they understand exactly what you're talking about. So just pumped up about the beginning of preseason camp and excited about the 2020 season. So I'll open it up for any questions. We got Ed right there. Ed Daniels, you got him. Tom?
Yep, I see him.
Okay. You got him unmuted. He's not unmuted yet.
Coach, can you hear me now?
Now I got you.
Okay. Coach, to the best of your recollection, how many games do you think you'll be playing this season, and has that created some uncertainty as to how you plan things?
It really hasn't created any uncertainty for how we're planning things. We're actually have practiced a little bit more than you normally do because the NCAA allowed us to get into 20-hour weeks, the 2 weeks leading up to camp. So we've done a lot of stuff right now. We're like everybody. We're hoping for 12 ball games. I'm letting the experts. I'll let Troy handle all those questions and Doc Stewart.
Willie got muted.
Am I muted? How do you? Right there. Just go ahead. Right there. Let's just keep everybody unmuted. We're good with that, right?
I didn't know it'd be this easy to mute Coach Fritz. I mean, just one click of a button.
Don't tell my wife how easy that is. I'll be in trouble. But hey, we're hoping for 12 ball games, like everybody. We had 2 weeks of 20-hour per week preparation leading up to camp. So really, we've gone through 2 practices right now. We've got in, 80% of our offense, defense, special teams. We've met on a few times and done some walkthroughs with them. So we're way ahead of the game right now. And my philosophy's been on all this with the pandemic and playing football and everything like that. I'm gonna let the experts take care of that. Troy's on meetings all day, every day. Thank God I'm not in all those meetings. I'd go crazy. Doc Stewart, our team doctor is in charge of the Health Alliance for the conference. He's in meetings all day. So our guys are, number one at the forefront for us is our guys' well-being and safety, and the coaches, as well. So we're just excited about the opportunity to get out here and play ball, and we definitely want to play 12 games if at all possible. Anybody else?
Has any questions for Troy? Please feel free to ask away.
Yeah, Troy. Hey, Brooks, Kavina here from the Advocate. On those 12 games, all these schedules coming out from across the leagues, some going with 10 games or 12. What within your conversations within your league made it comfortable for y'all to go with 12 games over 10 or committing to a full schedule for the season?
Well, there was no medical reason not to play 12. And our medical advisory committee said there was no medical reason not to start on time. So for us, it became a matter of status quo. Now, we've obviously lost 2 games at Northwestern and at Mississippi State. We have a coordinated announcement at 2 o'clock today where we will announce both of those games have been filled. So we're back at 12. So if we do play, we will have a full schedule of 12.
Gary, go
Coach
ahead.
Fritz. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, just Willie, how you mentioned it's kind of business as usual, but how different is it having to deal with the restrictions that you have with trying to do a little bit of social distancing while you and then do a regular practice at the same time?
Sometimes I think I'm the head coach of mask wearing here at Tulane. I've been after the guys, but they've done a super job. We've tested. I think our squad, we're nearing 2,000 tests with players, managers, trainers, coaches, everybody. And we've done unbelievably well, and that's a credit to the athletic department and the culture we have within our football program. But we just got to stay after it every day, and the guys understand that. They're excited about the opportunity to play ball, and this is what we got to do to play ball. So it's been different with the you guys know how I am. I'm get up there in the middle of the guys and like to hug them and put my arm around them and all those kind of things. And I'm not able to do that right now. But that's just part of adapting and improvising to these strange times.
I want to pick up on that just a little bit on the testing part. To Willie's point, as a department since June 13th, we've run 2,661 tests. 1,080 of those are football student athletes. We've had 5 positives of the 1,080 in football. 2 of those positives were upon arrival. 3 of those positives were in one house right after arrival. No one's in quarantine right now. Of those 2,661, we've had 11 total positives. That includes athletes from 6 different sports. It includes all of our staff, our graduate assistants, everybody that comes in contact with our student athletes that's been tested. We've been testing twice a week through the summer. Even though the NCAA protocols are going to call for once a week testing in season, we will continue to test twice a week. And to Willie's point, testing doesn't prevent the virus from getting into your program. Testing, though, would prevent the spread, so you could catch it early and get people quarantined if necessary. I want to give great credit to the student athletes in particular for not doing things outside of the bubble, if you will, of athletics that would allow the virus to be introduced. One of the things that was shared with us as athletic directors and presidents in the AAC yesterday by our medical advisory committee was that in almost every case of a positive occurrence, positive test in our league this summer, it did not come from the training room. It did not come from the weight room. As contact tracing showed, it did not even come from anything on the field or any activities. It came from things, bars and beaches, being at places where we know the virus was more prevalent. So our student athletes have done a great job of being in the right place and taking care of themselves. And so they deserve a lot of credit, but our numbers, I consider them to be remarkable. And also, I think we may be the only school in the country, other than the military academies, that are testing at the level that we're testing. So I also want to give credit to the university for allowing us the resources to do this, because it is not an inexpensive proposition. But to Willie's point, if you want to create a safe environment for your student athletes, staff, coaches, this is what you need to do. And if you want to play football, this is what you need to do.
Coach Fritz, what have been the biggest, this is Rod at the time speaking in, what have been the biggest just challenges in all this for you as a coach?
Oh, I just think, that it was really different. I think our last day was it March 16th, Troy? Was that the day we kind of shut everything down?
Friday, March 13th.
March 13th. We came in as coaches and we worked, I believe, the next week. We met with the kids that following Monday, I think that was, maybe the 16th, and then we sent them home, a couple days later, and we had the Zoom meetings. At first, I was very worried about that. There'd be a big time disconnect between myself, the coaches, and the student athlete. But there is just a wealth of information out there in regards to football, and I really feel like our coaches and our players took advantage of that time away, and we got better. We got better as a team. I know I got better as a head coach, and talked to a lot of different people, had a lot of different people talk to our team, and we met and did everything that the NCAA allowed us to do. And then when we came back on June the 15th, I think it was just getting back into the new normal. The guys were chomping at the bit to get back here, and it sounds like my dog back here. But the guys were chomping at the bit to get back here, and they're just excited to be around their buddies again. The challenge has been, for myself, I'm a hands-on guy, and I can, these guys are like my sons, and it's hard for me to kind of stay away from them a little bit and practice proper social distancing. But we're doing that, and our guys understand it, and I'm fortunate I'm at Tulane where I get to work with a lot of smart guys.
Hey, Troy, this is Garland. Did the Tulane community and the football team understand the significance of y'all being the first team to play in New Orleans during the pandemic against Southeastern on September 3rd?
I don't think we've thought about being the first to play. I think we've more thought about finally the department is off its back and we have an opportunity to play. We look at this as a university. Everybody's peers that got shut down in the spring. It's finally a chance to get back to normal. And we're all making a lot of assumptions that we're going to play. We're all, I'll qualify every statement I make if we play, because I think the jury's still out. But there's a hope and a desire, and not just from the football team, but from everybody in the department, from all the student athletes, to get back to some degree of normalcy. And so I don't think anybody's grasped any significance of it coming back to the city. But I think we do understand the significance of college football, if it is able to be played, the significance of it coming back nationally. Because I think the one thing we've learned in the last month, any bit of news became, fodder for everybody. The attention that's focused on college football because of its role in our society. It's a big honking deal.
Is there any talk of fans possibly being at Yeoman for this game, or is that with us still in phase 2? That looks kind of like a long shot.
I do not anticipate fans at any games this year right now at home. Now, the plan is to announce 10 days in front of every home game whether we will and to what degree we will be allowed to have fans. And again, that is tied directly into the city's restrictions. Right now, I think the number is 50. And as we've shared publicly, the first people to get in, if we're allowed to have people to get in, are player families and friends. They're each allowed a certain number of tickets for the game. Those are the first people to get in. The second people to get in are students. We've social distanced our stadium, and even at max capacity from a social distancing standpoint, even after if you consider the player pass from the visiting fans or visiting players and from ours and some students, it's unlikely at any point in time, even if best case scenario, we'll see more than 3,000 fans in the stadium this year. But right now, I would not bet on having fans at any point this fall. I've also told the volleyball team, do not anticipate having fans for indoor sports this fall, and I've talked to Coach Hunter about not having fans for indoor sports this fall. And that's based on the knowledge that we have at the current time, and that could evolve, but that's the way it seems right now.
Troy, if you put a pencil to what that might cost you going forward, just in in football tickets, concessions, advertising, anything else? Have you guys put a pencil to that about what that might cost you?
I put a pencil to it every day, and then I change the color of the pencil the next day, and it looks exactly the same. But, you know, I've said this about football. Football is the boat that drives the economic engine of every athletic department. Some boats are bigger than others, but if the boat sinks, the boat sinks. Football doesn't happen. Everybody's economic engine inside of it, their athletic department sinks. So, you know, I would tell you, I'm planning 2 parallel tracks right now. The first track is we're going to play. We're going to play our sports. There may be limited fans, and we'll account for that, but life will go on, and we'll get better from day one, and we'll improve. The second track is basically a shutdown track. What does it look like if Friday, March 13th, reasserts itself at some point in time this fall, whether before the season starts or after? And so we're also making plans for that to happen, just in case. So, you know, it's complicated, Ed. You know, no matter what happens, you know, this year is going to test all of us from a budgetary standpoint. It's testing the integrity of the collegiate athletics financial model. We've already seen that. And if people didn't know that the athletics model from a financial standpoint was tenuous, I think that's been exposed fully for everyone to see. We're already starting to plan for what are we going to do different in the future, because we have to do things different in the future. You know, the sustainability of what we do has been exposed, and it will not last any longer.
Hey, Willie, can I get a on-the-field question? How is Keon looking? I know it's only 2 practices, but I know a lot of people have eyeballs on your quarterback since Justin had the reins for the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. He's a gym rat, a field rat, whatever you want to call him. He's around all the time. He's been around all summer. I think he really has a great handle on what we're doing offensively. You know, so I'm excited about his progress. Michael Pratt is competing with him for that first team job. Michael had the advantage of being here for spring football, and even though we got only 5 practices in, that's big, because you also got to take in consideration January, February, and understanding the nuances of the offense. And then I'm also really pleased with the progress of Justin Ibieta. He didn't have the opportunity to be here for spring football, but he's going to be a great quarterback here at some point in time in his career at Tulane. So, you know, our quarterback position, I know it gets a lot of focus on it, and we're very pleased with the progress those guys have made over the summer, these first 2 practices.
Any other questions for Coach Fritz or Troy Dana?
Willie, what is Kyle Myers' status? I know he's not listed on the roster, but he was out. He was practicing today.
He's here. He's good to go. He's 100% eligible. I think most of you know Kyle. Kyle played at Holy Cross High School. He's a transfer student for us from Florida State. He's wearing jersey number 10. Pumped up about having him. We needed some more experience at the corner position, and he's given that to us. He could also step inside and play some nickel back for us, and also has got a lot of experience in the kicking game. So Kyle's here. We're pumped about that.
Anything else for Coach Fritz or Troy
Yeah,
Dana?
one more. Willie, I know you're a day-by-day, hour-by-hour guy, but a lot of the guys in the spring talked about winning the West title, being in the championship game. From what you see, do you think your team has made enough of a move forward that you'll be able to do that this year?
Yeah, I really do. You know, when we talk about goals big time during preseason camp and what we can accomplish, you know, and then we start going and eyeballing just every individual game as it's laid out to us. But, you know, there's a big move a few years back when we went from Conference USA to the American. And, you know, it just our players, I think, match up much better now. We got the depth. You know, we were way behind, particularly on the offensive line, you know, when I first got here. those first few years. And I think we're closer in that area. I think our skill guys can match up with anybody in the conference. I think our stable of running backs, even though we lost Corey Dauphine for the season, I think we've got great depth at running back. We're going to need to get consistent play from the quarterback position. Not incredible play, but consistent play. You know, and then defensively, I think our defensive line stacks up against anybody in the country. We got a bunch of guys up there that are going to have an opportunity to play after they get done at Tulane. I feel good about 4 of our inside linebackers. We added Kevin Henry from over Baton Rouge Central, transfer from Oklahoma State, and he's fitting right in. But 4 of those guys are going to be rolling in and out at 2 positions. And then we got a lot of experience coming back in the secondary. I know we lost Bo Pete Keys, you know, the Kansas City Chiefs, but, you know, we've got good depth there as well. So, you know, I really feel like we've got the hosses and the depth, you know, to be able to compete with teams talent-wise in the AAC. And I also am very impressed with my coaching staff. I think we've got a great staff, and we've got continuity, and just excited to get going.
Tom, I got a question. Hello?
Yeah, we got you, Mitch.
Yeah, sorry I came in late, but this is for Troy Dannon. I'm just curious about, assuming you're playing, like you said, you hope to play, will the schedule stay as is? All those dates, will they stay the same?
Yeah, assuming we play, the 10 games that we had remaining after the Autonomy 5 canceled a couple of those, same dates, same schedule. Now, I say that with a little bit of a caveat. I think ESPN is in the process of moving a couple of games, maybe from Saturday to Friday or those type of things. We have added 2 non-conference games to replace the 2 we lost, and those will be announced, I hope to announce this morning, but we'll announce those in conjunction with the opposing schools at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
So in other words, the conference games will stay as is unless ESPN switches those days?
Exactly, as is, unless ESPN or for some television reason moves them.
Hey Troy, this is Garland. Are you happy with how your testing has gone, and will it continue during the season? I know you've done a lot of it this off season.
Well, I think I should be thrilled with it. You know, the test rate's been, you know, the positive rate of 1% or a little less is remarkable. The fact that we haven't had spread within the program, and I think testing's been a part of that. We are going to continue to test at this rate. We're testing staff. Basically anyone who comes in contact with student athletes on a daily basis is tested twice a week. The rest of the staff is tested once a week. Student athletes will be tested twice a week. The plan right now is whether they're in season or they're not in season twice a week, because they all use the weight room, they all use the training room. So we're doing all we can to prevent the spread of the virus, you know, and then asking the student athletes to do all the things that we've learned to do, right? You know, wash your hands, wear a mask, do everything you're supposed to do, stay away from places where there's large groups in order to prevent the virus from coming in the first place. So in order to play, I mean, it takes that coordinated effort, but it starts with good behaviors and continues with testing.
Bro, to follow up on that, you know, yesterday Will Muschamp was talking about the SEC testing 3 times, Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, I believe, were the dates. Is three too much? I mean, what's twice a week? I mean, what's the right amount to really get an accurate picture of the health and make sure that, you know, there's not a positive player going in on a football game?
We did twice a week from the beginning with this thought in mind, and it was a football-centric thought, but if we tested on Wednesday or Thursday, so that when we got to the plane on Friday to go to the game, we knew everybody that got on that plane had a negative result. We play the game, we come back, on Monday we test again. We know then coming out, were there any new positives that came out of the travel or out of the interaction of the game. And that's the Monday, Thursday routine that we thought we were going to be in. You know, the NCAA's protocols, yeah, obviously best practice changes by the day. The NCAA protocols call for once a week testing. We're going to continue with twice. You know, it sounds real easy to say, 3 is better than 2 and 7 is better than 6. I don't know about the medical piece to that. That gets a little outside of my bailiwick. But, you know, the sports that have truly been able to bubble are testing on a daily basis. You know, I think football is going to look a lot like Major League Baseball, where we're not really bubbled. We're bubbled now, but you know, once the season starts, once campuses are repopulated, we really won't be bubbled anymore. So I think what we're going to learn about whether 2 or 3 or more or less is warranted here in the next couple of weeks.
Hey, Willie, I asked Troy about the significance of that Eastern game. Have you talked to the kids? Are they excited that they know that there's a game on the horizon after all of this pandemic and them being at home and everything, that they know there's a game close at hand?
You know, obviously all, you know, collegiate student athletes want to play as much as they can, and so they're very excited about it. You know, that big break we had from middle of March till, you know, yesterday's first real practice, you know, it just made everybody appreciate the opportunity to play, you know, Division I football, and, you know, it wouldn't matter who we were playing. I think our guys would be jacked up for the game.
Anything else for Troy Dannon or Coach Fritz?
Thank you all for coming. We're going to try to make it as accommodating as we can, so appreciate you coming out to the stadium. Roll wave.
Heads up, we have Amari Jones, Patrick Johnson.